So, Hallöchen und zurück bei der Stanley Parable. Das ist jetzt Folge 3 und...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Die sind immer noch alle weg. Nach unserer Odyssee letzte Woche versuchen wir heute mal wieder ein bisschen wieder auf den richtigen Weg zu kommen.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Und ja, machen mal wieder ein bisschen was richtig. Gucken, wo wir rauskommen heute.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Und jetzt,
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
an dem Punkt waren wir schon mal. Ja, oben kennen wir uns schon aus, gehen wir mal nach unten heute. Oder was machen? Nö. So, Tiefgarage. Wie auch
But
immer das Auto
Stanley
hier
just
reinkommt.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Das frage ich mich, seit ich
Now
das
the
Spiel
voice
spiele.
was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Ja.
My life is normal. I am normal.
Normal.
Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ich bin okay. Ja. Nö, wir sind immer noch da.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Schön. Fängst du jetzt schon wieder von vorne an?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
Oh, das ist
But on
wohl
this
Stanley.
particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Gut, Stanley ist tot und bekloppt, das mit dem bekloppt wussten wir bereits und das war jetzt eine ziemlich kurze Folge. Deswegen würde ich sagen, machen wir einfach nochmal was, weil war ein bisschen arg kurz. Und viel
All of his
Geplapper.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Kennen wir schon. Ist ja gut. Laufen wir mal durch, mal gucken, was für Kreisläufe wir
When
diesmal
Stanley
können.
came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room,
No.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ja, hier waren wir auch schon.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ach, bin ich leider dran vorbeigelaufen.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. Ich lüge aber nicht. Würde nie lügen. Wer mich kennt, ja okay, vergesst es lieber. Da kommen wir nicht weiter. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it's in motion. It will cause death. Penalty for jumping off the... Toll, du musst $5.000 bezahlen, wenn du da runterspringst, wo du dann eh tot bist. Was machen wir? Springen wir runter oder fahren wir rüber? Wir fahren mal rüber.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Wer ist sie?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Wer ist sie? Da ist mir zu dunkel drin, da will ich nicht rein. Wer ist da? Hallo? Wow.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Hallo? Hallo? Jemand da? Hilfe!
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Was?
Gotcha! Oh, come on.
Bist so ein
Did
Arschloch.
you actually think you had a loving wife who
Yeah.
want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Hübsch.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employee. Press Q on your keyboard.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a
Nein.
reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Ach
Now
nein.
he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work.
Now halt die
One might
Fresse.
even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Nein, ich drücke jetzt nicht die Nummer 7. Ich werde es nicht tun, nur weil du es sagst. Ah, ist ja gut.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Ja. Okay, das ist
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he
What's the
imagined
fantasy?
that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Och
The
nein.
thought excited him terribly.
Ja, spend time
So
with the
he
boys.
went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Was?
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Ja, wenn ich jetzt den...
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he
Wunderschön.
relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be?
Ey,
In
jetzt ernsthaft,
reality, all
jetzt
he's doing is
entwickelt sich
pushing the
das alles
same
schon wieder
buttons he
zurück.
always has.
Da
Nothing
geht's
has
gleich wieder
changed.
raus.
The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Gut, mach ich. Ich drücke jetzt mal nix. Ich weiß nur nicht, wie lange wir jetzt warten müssen. Ne? Die folgenden Folgen verzögern sich um ein paar Minuten, Stunden, Jahre. Weiß ich nicht. Gibt's hier noch was oder? Ist mir egal.
You see?
Ja.
Can he just not hear me? How can I
Nein.
tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play
Klar
to
machst
my
du die Regeln.
intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
Komm.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I...
Ja, da sind wir tot. Schön. Passiert noch was? Hilfe. Cool, das waren jetzt 2 Folgen in einer. Eine Doppelfolge sozusagen. Ja, ich denke mal von der Zeit her kommt es jetzt hin. Doppelfolge mal ausnahmsweise, weil das jetzt 2 recht kurze Sachen waren. Und mal gucken, was wir in der nächsten Folge so anstellen, weil ich glaube, Wege gibt es hier noch ein paar. Da kommen noch ein paar Folgen zusammen, da macht es jetzt auch nichts, dass mehrere Folgen in einem sind. Und ja, ich wünsche euch noch einen schönen Tag. Macht's gut. Tschüssi.